tide rolls out. The summertime is just about gone.
Howdy folks, Chris here at East Coast Sports. Chuck Johnson here is going to show us how to make a planer bridle rig so that you can troll for wahoo and yellowfin, be able to get your baits down deep, get the bait a long way from the planer so the fish don't see it, and then still be able to remove the planer before it gets to the boat so that you'll be able to almost do a wind up right up to the boat, and it will certainly increase your hookup with the fish. But we'll be right back and let Chuck show you how to build it.
First of all, you want to start with a planer, and normally what we do in the Gulf Stream, we use a 8 or 12 planer. You can use a 6, but normally we use the 8 and 12 when we're trolling for wahoo and for yellowfin. I'm going to show you how to make the planer to start off with, because you have to put certain kind of clips on the planer to get it to work right. And what I do is I start out with a piece of 400-pound, usually outrigger board line, and you can cut it a little bit at the ends to where you can work it better. And what I do is I start with a sleeve, a crimp, and I put the crimp through the one end of the planer, and I crimp it down. I run the crimp back through.
Is this a size 2.3 aluminum sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you pull it down on the planer, but you want to leave a little space to where it will work easy. And once you get it down, you want to crimp it. And I crimp one end. And you come down and you crimp it again. Okay. Then you cut your tag end off. Okay. You put another sleeve, a crimp back on, and then you take your release clip and you put your release clip on. And it's very important that when you put the clip on, that you keep it on the same side. And I'll show you in a minute when you do that. You see where the tag end comes here? You want the tag end to come back through on the same side when you crimp it on. When you crimp your sleeve on. You pull it down. You pull it down tight. And there again, you want to leave you enough to where you got some play in it where it won't be so tight. And you pull it down and you crimp it. Now, and notice I've left a little bit in there, a little place where it can work it. But it's important that you have your crimp. When they come together here, we're on the same side. As to where when
you want your tag in and your running end on the same
side.
Same side.
And then you crimp it down. You do the same thing again, and make sure you got your crimp straight. Okay. And then you cut your tag end off. Okay. Okay, that's one end just ready to work on. All right, you do the same thing on the other end. Using your ring, you just put your crimp on. And it's important when you first start working is to clip the end of the line off, but it makes it a whole lot easier to work if you got a little
point
on the end of it.
Makes it easier to
Put
go
it on through. And you start with the ring. You come in and you crimp, pull it down. And there again, you want to make sure you leave yourself a little play in it, because that's important when you go to taking it off. Crimp it down. Same thing, just leave you a little play. And you just clip your tag end off. And clip it off as close as possible. because you're gonna have to work the tag end back against it on the next time. Okay. Put your another crimp on, put your other tag on, and then you run your line back through the crimp. Now here's where the important part comes in. You've got to have both tag ends on the same side. Now you see they're reversed now. So I've got this snaps on this side, this one has to also snap on that side. So I've got to reverse it to make it snap on the same side.
Okay.
Because when you're taking it off, after a fish hits and trips your planer, when you're taking it off, it's very important to have both clips
on the same side.
Both clips on the same side. See, now both clips are they open on the same side.
Right.
This opens here, and this opens here. Okay. You pull it down, and there again, you leave yourself a little play where it's adjustable, and you do your crimp, tag to tag. Come over and do your other crimp, and you clip the tag end off, and there's your planer.
There's your planer ready to go, and we'll take a look at the bridle here in just a minute.
Okay.
Here we are with Chuck, and he's going to show us how to make the bridle for the planer rig that he just showed you how to make.
Okay, first off, when we start making the bridle, we want to use a 150-pound spro wind-on swivel, which is just plain wind-on swivel,
okay.
150 pound. And I'm using 150-pound fluorocarbon. The reason I use fluorocarbon is because it's stiffer and it makes your bridle work a lot better. And it don't kink as bad as regular mono does. So I'm gonna start with the bridle. I'm gonna just clip the end again to make it work. It'll run through the eyes a whole lot easier. I'm gonna just slide it on to the spro swivel. And I'm gonna take a crimp. I'm gonna put the crimp on. Go back through. Put the crimp on. Then I'm going to come back through the crimp. Okay. Now, the bridle has got to be, the opening in the bridle has got to be 3 inches long. So make sure when you crimp it down that you leave your 3 inches in between the wind-on swivel and the end of the bridle. So I'm going to push this down, and there again you want to leave your little play, you know, so it won't be so tight that you can't work it. And I'm going to crimp it. Okay. Then I'm going to slip another crimp on, and I'm using a 1.3 crimp.
Double barrel, right?
Double barrel, 1.3 crimp. Now you notice now that when I'm putting this together, these have to be to where the opening is the same. You can't have it twisted. You have to twist. It's got to be smooth. The opening's got to be the same. Okay. So whenever the opening looks like this, it's got to be the same, just like that, and it's got to be 3 inches between here and there. Now, a little bit later I can show you another way to do it. If you're going to fish for Spanish on another rig, on a smaller planer, you can do the same identical thing. You just have to make the bridle shorter and the slip shorter, and it'll work the same way on a small planer for Spanish. All right, I'm going to make sure you close that together like that, and then do the same thing with your crimp. Crimp it down, and you got to be on the same side. Okay. So when you crimp your opening, it's open. So
that's so that this can hook.
And I'll show you in a minute how you work that,
yeah.
how that slips into this.
Okay.
Okay. You cut this end off. Cut your tag end off. Okay. Now, then you slip your 2 crimps on your line, and there again you want to cut a little little angle there so it'll be easy to work with. You want to slip 2 crimps on your line. Okay. Then take your 150-pound spray wind on swivel, and you stick that on your line. Okay. And what we got to do, remember, that's got to be 26. It's got to be 26 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead.
And you've already got 26 inches measured out here on the board. We did that
got
before.
26 inches measured on the board. And I'm gonna cut the end off a little bit there. I'm gonna come back and take one of my swivels, or crimps rather, and we'll stick it through here. Okay. And then I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna measure my 26 inches. From end to end.
Starting at that mark right there.
Okay. Then we'll go 26 inches, which is here. Okay.
That mark there. Okay.
All right. That's total length. We'll push this down. Okay. You remember now you got to have an extra crimp on here for your 3 inches. I'm gonna crimp this. Okay. And I'm gonna come down and take my other crimp. You remember now slipping on the line, you got to have them on the same side. So that way the opening will work right when you work off your clip. Okay, you see what I've done now? There again, I've got the opening the same.
About 3 inches, right?
3 inches, okay? You got 26 inches total, and then you got 3 inches on each end. And that makes the perfect length for a number 8 or number 12 planer for wahoo fishing, yellowfin fishing, or any kind of deep water fishing with a planer. And there is your complete bridle rig.
There's your bridle rig, and then what we would do is we'd tie our main line onto here, right?
Main line to here.
And then we would tie.
This goes to your running line.
This
your
goes
100
to
feet
our
or 125 foot of running line.
Running line, and then your leader, your ballyhoo or whatever, and
this stays on your reel at all times. This doesn't come off your reel.
And this will pass through the guides
on your reel,
and it'll go onto the reel. So your planer will take it down. We'll hook this in. We'll hook this in.
Okay.
Hook that in. So there's your planer ready to go.
Ready to rig.
And it's pulling down. It's pulling down. The fish hits. It pulls tight. It comes up to the surface.
You wind this.
You wind up till you get to here.
Then you clip.
Then the gaff man is ready. Unclips your first bridle.
This comes off.
Unclips your second bridle.
And it's real easy to do when you got
when you got tension on it. It's a lot easier.
You got tension when you got and then that just clips off this state, and you're fighting the fish on out.
You're fighting the fish on out.
And you just lay your planer down till you get ready to rig it again.
All right.
Simple, real neat, and it's easy to make these things, and they're easy to fish with. And now you can use.
And so we had the 2.3
aluminum sleeves.
We had the 400-pound.
And you can use any kind of 400-pound mono, whatever.
We had the heavy 150
spray
wind-ons.
And a 1.3B barrel double swivel.
And then I believe here we got a number 8 sea striker. You can use an old salt too.
Either one. 8 or 12 is normally what they use in the Gulf Stream.
Right.
Now, if you want to fish for Spanish, you can do the same thing for a planer with Spanish fishing, but you can't use a number 1 planer because it's not big enough. But you want to use a number 3 or number 4. I'll be glad to show you how to rig that up. You just have to make your bridle shorter and your clip smaller. And you can do the same thing fishing with Spanish. It's very deadly. It's a great rig to use.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Chuck. I'm sure people out there will appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get out there and get some wahoo and some yellowfin.
Talk about fishing, you can't give the fish away. Everybody's lucky. October and the moon is coming, but the clouds won't give up the ghost. Oh, let the good weather hold one more day. Let the good weather hold. Let the good weather hold. Let the good weather hold. One more day.